Mazel tov, friend.
Thank you. I wanted to be there the whole week.
You're seeing lines in you're seeing white lines in your dreams, huh?
That's right. I think I slept maybe half an hour today.
You should have picked up a container. You should have picked up a container in Elizabeth, and you could have made a few $1,000 driving back to Chicago.
Anyway.
We're here. Okay, Baruch Hashem. Should have a lot of nachas.
Amen. Thank you.
All right. Where's everybody tonight?
I'm here, Rebbe. I'm finally back. It's been months.
Yeah. Where you been?
I have COVID, so I'm stuck at home. I can't be out partying.
Oh, okay. Is it worth it?
Are you seriously? You have COVID again?
No, I never had it before. It's my first time.
Oh my gosh.
You had the vaccine or you didn't have the vaccine?
In February. So I had it like months ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Baruch Hashem. I got the infusion, the Regeneron antibody infusion.
That helped you?
It came to the house. I don't know if it helped me, but it hasn't gotten worse. Baruch Hashem, I feel good.
All right.
Just a little stuffy.
Yeah. Okay. Refuah Shalem.
I had a fever the first day. After the treatment, my fever got a little worse, and then it's been gone. Baruch Hashem. I WhatsApped Rebbe a COVID-related question.
Yeah, I saw it. I just couldn't answer it now. But yeah, I'll see. Okay, let's go. Top line of Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph. Take out your Sidurim if you really want to do it properly, this stuff. All right. Anyway, so let's see. Satanya Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, B'Shum Rabbi Kiva. Yehuda said name Rabbi Kiva. Barishan, Maha Aimer. On Sunday, what did they sing? The Levium. Lashem Aretz Malaya. Right? Al Shem, Rashi says Lashem Aretz Kol HaMizmor.
I'm sorry. Where did you leave off? I apologize.
Lamed Aleph, Amud Aleph, top line. Gershon, is Gershon on yet? Gershon Russell?
No.
No? All right, because he had a kasha, so there's a Rashi. Okay. Fine. Okay, so Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Kiva Barishan, on the first day of the week, on Sunday, they would say, Lashem Aretz Malaya. Right? Basically, what are yoms that we say? Lashem Aretz. Barashi points out that it's Kol HaMizmor, not just the first pasuk, the entire parak. Al Shem Shekona V'Hikna, right? That he bought the world literally, and V'Hikna, and then he gave it over to man. V'Shalat Ba'Lamai, and he ruled in the world. Yeah. So that's why we say that on the first day. On Monday, Gadol Hashem Miyoi. Hashem is great and very praised. Al Shem, why are we saying that? Al Shem Shechilik Maisav, because there he started separating things. And he ruled over them. Right? Which Rashi says he separated the heavens, the Rakia, whatever that means, from the upper heavens to the lower. Yeah. Whatever, yeah. Fine, so that's that. V'shlishi hayo aimrim elikim nitzav ba'adas kel. Right, Hashem standing in the adas of kel. Al shem shegila eretz b'chachmasa, that he showed the land with its chachma. V'heichin tevel la'adas, and he prepared the world for the adas, for the people that were gonna occupy it. What do you say on Wednesday? Kel Nekama is Hashem. It's Hashem is a Hashem that takes Nekama. Hashem Shabarach Chama Ulavana, because it created the sun and the moon on Wednesday. But also Liparam Me'avdan, and he's going to end up taking payment from from those that are over the sun and the moon. Right? That's why we say, call the Kamais Hashem, that Hashem is going to take revenge against people that are over the way to Zor. Sing to our mighty Hashem, Hashem Shabara Oifos V'Dagim L'Shabeach L'Shmai, because that's when all the birds and the fish were created to praise him. Right? Now Rashi is a very interesting Rashi. If you look to the right, and then one line down in the Rashi says, Kisha Adam Raya Oifos Meshunim Zemizeh Noisin Shvach L'Misha Barum. When you see animals, I mean, he says oifas, but different oifas, then you give a shvach to the Misha Barim. Like, I think that would be the bracha Mashana Abrius. I'm assuming that's what Rashi is referring to. No, when you see oddball animals, right? I think no. Then you would make a special bracha, right? Anyway, so that's where Harninu Lalikim Zenu comes from. B'shishi Hayoim Hashem Malach Geyos Lavesh. Right, Hashem, he's wearing chashuva things. Hashem Shegomar Malach Malach to Malach Aleim. Fridays when he finished all his work and he ruled over them. B'shvi Hayoim Mizmar Shiliyim Shabbos Liyom Shekule Shabbos. It's a Mizmar Shiliyim Shabbos to the day that's totally Shabbos. Yeah, fine. So. Now, but here that's important, because what does it mean Liyom Shekula Shabbos? Like Rashi says that in the future the world is going to be destroyed, but which we're going to see later in the daf. So they're going to say the Mizvah Shel Yom Shabbos for the eventual day that there will be Shabbos, right? Fine. So that's what that's referring to in the future, which we're going to ask on that. Now, he had said today, Rabbi Razna, I don't know where he got it from, but because I tried looking into where did we get that we do the Yom every day, that we say the Yom? Like, when did that start? Right? I mean, if anything, the Levium sang these by the korbanos. Right? We don't say these by korbanos, say it at the end of davening. Right? So he had said that it came from the Arizal. The Arizal is the one that instituted it to say the Yom. I don't know. Anybody ever hear that? I looked around today.
Why would it come so far after?
That's pretty late in the game.
That's what I'm saying. It's a chiddush.
Why would it be so late?
Huh?
Why would it be so late after?
Because the truth be told, that it has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with the korbanos. Unfortunately, we don't have korbanos. If anything, if you're going to say it has to do with the korbanos, then we should say it by shachris when we do the korban tamid and the ketayros.
Then Anshe Knesset Gedolah would have made it by korbanos, no?
Right.
Arizal was 1,000 years later.
I know. That's what his chiddush. I don't know. That's what he had said. I don't know. I don't know. Which I tell you. That's.
And the Ashkenaz say it mamash at the end.
Right. No, so at least they say with the
Don't
ketayros,
show off, okay? Don't show off.
Didn't we just say on the previous daf that the Levium, once the Levium sang it, that means no more korban mussaf? So we hold off to the very end of the morning, because then that's the last thing before. Didn't we just have that on the daf?
Yeah, you're right. But does that have to do with, but should that apply on a regular weekday? I mean, we're not expecting.
The end, our tefillah represents korbanos. That's the last thing that we say. So I guess you might ask, why don't we just say it before Mincha then?
I hear. Well, the truth is, one second. Well, now you're taking, on Tisha B'Av we do it before Mincha, right? Tisha B'Av we do it before Mincha, and when do we do it? Some places Taka do it before davening on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, no?
It's in the sitter, yes. It's in the machzor, the hardcore machzor. You say it before Rosh Hashanah.
What's up, Shan, in that?
Yeah, because it is no Aleinu in the end, because you have Mincha and Yom Kippur goes right into Ashrei.
So does that mean that it's connected to Aleinu, like Avi's saying?
Because by the end of davening, you don't want to add another thing on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Might as well, might as well say it early.
That break.
But I don't know. We could bring a raya from because Tisha B'av that said because Tisha B'av.
No, Tisha B'av you don't do it because you don't want to do it in the morning.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a raya from Tisha B'av.
I don't know. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I don't know. I have to continue looking into it. The Svarim on Tefillah didn't have it. The only thing is, what is interesting is the Hayoim Yom Rishon, right? Hayoim Yom Sheni, that we say before these prakim. That could be a deraisa, because we're supposed to be. It's a covered for Shabbos. Hayoim Yom Rishon l'Shabbos. That the reason why that was implemented was so that we count every day. We mention Shabbos, and we're counting closer to Shabbos. It's like a covered Shabbos thing. Right, so that even some sheeters might even be a deraisa. So that one.
What would make that deraisa?
But something.
What are you saying,
we do, but on Yom Tif, the Goyin and the Chasam Sofer both. The Goyin had special kapitluch. He had a Kabbalah, what they said in the Mikdash. The Goyin has a list for each of the Yom Tovim, and the Chasam Sofer said even if you don't go with the Goyin's list, you should not say Hayom Yom Revi b'Shabbos on Sukkot, because that's not the capital they said. He said, he said say the capital because that's how it's brought down. That's what we say. He said, but don't say Hayom Yom so and so because that's not the capital they said in the Mikdash. You shouldn't say that one line heading. Some sites says you should not say that on Yom Tov.
Rabar, is it the same type of list like the Erev Rosh Hashanah Slichas? Which ones you say type of list?
No, I think it's more authoritative than that.
Oh, okay.
Where do we have a mitzvah to count off the days till Shabbos?
You know, we had it like in Beya with Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, that they, where they bought everything with Beis Shammai did it every day for Shabbos.
Yeah, that's a different thing, though.
No, this is you're acknowledging Shabbos every.
It's an achana to Shabbos every day.
Yeah. So, I don't think most would say it's a mitzvah deraisa, but there's to acknowledge Shabbos every single day. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so that's the Yom. So if anybody happens to know any information on the background of when we started the Yom, I mean, yeah. Okay, so fine. So that's the first one. So Amar of Nechemia, Ma ro chacham l'chalik ben aprokim alolu. Right? Why did the Chachamim differentiate between these prokim? Meaning, the first 6 are referring to Yisheshis Yimei Bereshis. Then all of a sudden comes to Shabbos, and the Yom of Shabbos is referring to when the world is going to be destroyed after 6,000 years. Like, why does that change? That's in Reb Nechemia's Kasha. And then these next bunch of lines are a Daf Yomi learner's dream. For some reason, he repeats the exact same thing until he gets to Shabbos. Why didn't he just say what his version of the Yom for Shabbos would be? But he went through the first 6 days again. Ela Barishan Shekana V'hikne V'shalit by Lamai. I'm just going to read it because it's a repeat. B'sheni Shechilik Ma'asav Omalach Aleim. B'shlishi Shegila Eretz B'chachmasei V'heichen Teva La'adasai. B'revi Shebara Chama U'Levana V'asili Para Me'avdan. B'chamishi Shebara Oifes V'dagim L'Shabeach L'Shmai. And B'shishi Shegomer Melachtai U'Malach Aleim. B'shvi. So what's B'shvi? Here's where he disagrees. Al Shem Sheshavas, right? Then on the 7th day, Hashem rested, right? Which is, I mean, to me, wouldn't that be the more push of the thing? Hashem rested on Shabbos. That's why we keep Shabbos, because it's the day Hashem rested. Okay, the Kamiflagi with Rav Katina, and he disagrees with Rav Katina. The Amar Rav Katina, Shisa Alfishani Hava Alma. This is really what the Machlokes is based on. He held that the world's going to be 6,000 years old. The Chad Charav, and then there's going to be 1,000 years of destruction. Shenemar v'niskav Hashem levade b'yomahu parat song of the daf. Yeah, all right. And Hashem is going to be the only one that's going to be the highest. There's going to be nothing else other than Hashem from those destructions. Abaya Amar, but Abaya says Trei Charav. There's going to be 2,000 years of destruction. Shenemar yichayenu mi yomayim. Right, yomayim. Right, that's it. Yomayim is plural, 2 days, which is representing 2,000 years. Okay, so that's the Machlokes. The mussaf, the shabbos, what did they say on mussaf and shabbos? So that's what they said every day by the korban tamid, right? What did they do for the mussaf Shabbos? Amarav Amarav. So how do you call this thing? Haziv lach. What do you call it? Natrika, not a natrika. Whatever it is. It's a Rosh Tevis. So look into the Taisis, that little box of Taisis. See, Haziv lach, which is everything that says in Parshas Hazinu, which is really the last parsha in the Torah before Beis HaBracha. Right, so that's a shira. Hazinu, that's hey. Zechor, that's each one of these is I think each one of these is an aliyah for that parsha. Right, each one of these is an aliyah for the parsha. Hazinu, Zechor, Yarkiveu, B'yare, Lule, Kiyodin. Is that six? Kein Kosa B'Sfarim, V'chein Pirish B'Kunshis. Hazinu, Zechor, Yarkiveu, B'yare, Lule. Yeah, that's 6. V'chein Pirish B'Kunshis, V'chein Aminig, V'Masech T'Sayvim, Ksiv Yishman La V'Yishamilai, which is another. Okay, whichever it is, those are the 6. It's basically the whole Parshas Hazinu, which is a shira. That's what they read by Mussaf. Okay, we'll get back to that in a minute. That the same way that they separated it here, so too they separated in beis Knesses, which we just said is the aliyahs, right? When you call up for the Torah, that's by Hazinu. Those are the 6 aliyahs.
Someone said this morning, Baal Koreh, that you can't make hosafas in this parsha. We don't make hosafas in Hazinu.
Not even for Shvi.
So maybe just Shvi, but he said no. I think he said we don't make hosafas on this, but maybe it's just the first 6 aliyahs.
Here. So you're saying if I'm going to ever daven a Hasidic shtibel, Parshas Hazinu should be the time.
Should never make us suffice anyway. Stamazai.
That's a difference.
That's what the Maggid here said. You should never make us.
That's only if you.
But that was his opinion.
That's only if you skip slichus. You don't. It goes together, right? Anyways, that's interesting.
But it's the Gemara Rosh Yeshiva Shaul Alta last Shabbos in Borough Park. She went for $1 million.
That's pretty good, huh?
Rabbi, you gotta steal him a deal for Shabbos Shuvah.
That's right. The people bought, the fellow bought it. He bought it for the Rosh Yeshiva. $1 million.
$1 million. Wow. I mean, I don't know. There's enough controversy going on with that trip, I see.
Yeah, you don't say, huh?
I mean, I heard a bunch of girls got kicked out of school because their fathers went to the Tish. I mean, can you imagine? Not normal.
Oh, I have my own personal thing, but I'm not going to talk about it now. You can talk.
Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it.
Not the place.
Yeah. But anyway, fine.
Stay tuned after this year.
That's right. For the unedited version of the post game. Anyways, so that's what they said by Mussaf. But Mincha the Shabbos, on Mincha of Shabbos, what did they say? Meaning for the korban tamid in the afternoon. Yeah. So Amar Rabbi Yochanan Az Yashir, which the regular standard Az Yashir, Umicha Maicha, which is the end of Az Yashir, which is a separate section of Az Yashir, and then Az Yashir again, not the Az Yashir. Right, help me out with this, Rebbeinu. What's it called? The second Az Yashir in the Bamidbar, no?
Shiras Haber.
Yeah, that's it, right? So after that shira, that second shira. So those are the 3 that they do. Fine, thank you. See, Bailu.
Yisrael.
Right, Ta'ale Be'er, right? That's what Rashi said. Yeah, very good. Yeah, Shkoya. Fine. So Bailu. Hani Kulu B'chad Shabbos Amri Lahu. I do Makol Shabbos Shabbos Amri Chad. Right, meaning, did they say all of these? Because we said there's six shiras from Parshas Hazinu, and these 3 from the Az Yashirs. So did they say all of them every Shabbos? Or did they say it on each Shabbos? They said 1. So Tashma, the Tanya Amar Rabbi Yossi, Adsha Harishayna Imeres Achas, right? By the time the first one is said once, Shniya Chayzera Shtayim, the second one is said twice. Meaning, The Az Yashir has 3. Az Yashir, Michamoicha, and Az Yashir. And the Hazinu has 6. So by the time they got through one round of the Hazinu, they already said 2 rounds of the Az Yashir, because it took 6 weeks to do the Hazinu. So therefore, they had to go around for the Mincha, for the Az Yashir, they had to go around twice. So you see, Shema Mino, Kol Shabbos of Shabbos, Amrichad. Every Shabbos, they only said 1. They didn't say all 6 and all 3. Shema Mino, that's what it is. Okay. Now we get into a Agadah. So Amar Rabbi Yehuda bar Idi, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Eser Masayis Nasa Shchina. The Shchina traveled 10 travelings. When there was the korban beis hamikdash, the Shchina traveled. Meaning, as basically what it is as the Yidden did worse and worse and worse, the Shchina kept traveling away and further away from the beis hamikdash. Mikrai, you know that from Psukim. Who connect on galus Sanhedrin, and the opposite that, meaning similarly, the Sanhedrin went into also 10 galuses, right? And that we know Gemara, that we know from a Gemara, which really means that it's just like a Messiah. So as a Messiah is not the Shchina Mikrai, 10 Masais we know from Psukim, Mikapyrus Lekruv. First it went from the Kapyrus to the Kapyrus is the cover of the Aron. And it jumped from there to one of the kruvim. Then we kruv the kruv. Then it jumped to the other kruv. When we kruv the mifton, and then it went from the kruv to the doorway, right, of the kodesh hakadashim. When we mifton the chatzar, then it went out to the chatzar. We chatzar the mizbeach. When we mizbeach legag, from the mizbeach to the roof of the azara. When we gag lechayma, and then it went to the wall. When we chayma leir, and from the wall to Yerushalayim. When we ir lahar. And from there to Har HaZeisim, and Mihar LeMidbar, from there it went out to the Midbar Yehuda, Midbar also the Yashrim Mekayim, and then from the Midbar, the Shechina just left, and it went up to its place, wherever that is. Shanemar, Eilech Yeshuva El Mekayim, I'm going to go, and I'm going to go back to my place. Mekaparis Lekruv, Mikruv, Lemifton, how do you know? Because the Siv, and I'm going to be known to you. I'm going to speak to you from on top of the kapyrus. So that's where it was. That's where the Shechina was, obviously. Then Uksiva Yirkav al Kruv, and then Vayoif, and he rode on the Kruv, and then he flew away. Uksiv Ukvaida Lekei Yisrael Nala Mi'ala Kruv Asher Hayolav El Miftan Abayis. Then it went from the Kruv to the doorway of the house. When Miftan Lechatzer Tichsiv Vayimale Habayis as Anon Vayachatzer Mala as Naga Kvaid Hashem. And the house was filled with a cloud, and the chutzner had the noiga of Kavod Hashem, the how do you say the shine, I guess, of the Kavod Hashem. Then it went from the chutzner mizbeach to Sibra Isi as Hashem nitzav al mizbeach. I saw Hashem standing on the mizbeach, so that's the shchina on top of the mizbeach. Mizbeach legag, and mizbeach to the roof of the beis hamikdash to Siv Taiv Lasheves al Pinas Gag. It's good to be on the corner of a roof. Megag l'chayma, from the roof to a wall. T'chsiv v'hinei Hashem nitzav al chaymas anoch, and the Hashem was standing on the wall. Mechayma le'ir t'chsiv kol Hashem le'ir yikra. The voice of Hashem was calling out to the people in the city. Umeir lahar, and from there to Har HaZeisim t'chsiv vayal kvod Hashem vayal toicha'ir vayamid al har Hashem ikedem la'ir. It stood on the mountain that was east of the city, so that's Har HaZeisim, right? That's East Jerusalem is by Har HaZeisim. Umihar leMidbar, Tichsiv Toiv Sheves Ba'eretz Midbar. It's good to live in the Meretz Midbar. Midbar also v'Yashrim Mekayma, and from the Midbar, that's where it went to its place. Tichsiv Eilech Yeshuva El Mekaymi. I'm going to go back to my place. Fine. So that's the 10 travels of the Shechina as it made its way out of the Beis Hamikdash. Amar of Yochanan, Shisha Chadashim is yeah.
I heard Rabbi Rosner today said that the Shla said each stage actually represents something. Like this is for MS, this is for Din, for the Lishka, etc. So it's these are symbolic. These aren't like not to be taken in like a frivolous way.
Interesting. That must be a more Kabbalistic version of this. I hear. Interesting. Yeah, fine. Okay, let's see weiter. So Amar Rav Yochanan, Shisha Chadashim Nisach V'Shchina L'Yisrael B'Midbar. For 6 months, the shchina stayed in the midbar. Shema yachzru b'tshuva. Maybe the Yidden would do tshuva. Kivan shaloi chazru. Since they didn't do tshuva, Amar tipach hatzman. He said they should be tipach. Literally means to blow up. Literally, but they should have pain. Shenemar ve'eni rishon techaleno u'monos avad minayim v'sikvasam mipach nefesh. Right, that the eyes of Rishayim would be how do you call it? They would be looking u'monos avad minayim and what do you call it? And they wouldn't be able to look towards Shemayim v'sikvasam mipach nefesh, and their tikva, their hope, would become mapach nefesh, would become something that would be bad for their souls. Meaning, so they would. It sounds like the tshuva wasn't accepted. Fine. So then we continue. Connect on galus Sanhedrin with Gemara. Right, and we know that it's from a Gemara that Sanhedrin also went to galus. Milishkas hagazes lechanus. They went from the lishkas hagazes. That's where the Sanhedrin normally sat. They went to chanus. All right. Then they went Mechanus to Yerushalayim. From there, from whatever that store was, they went to Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim the Yavne, on top of beis. Miyavne leusha, and then meusha leyavne, right? Because they went back. Miyavne leusha, then back to Usha, and then meusha leshefaram. Yeah, that was by Bar Kochba. Mishefaram lebeis sha'arim, to beis sha'arim, and beis sha'arim letzipayri. Umitzipairi, Latveria, Amuka, Mikula, and Tveria was the worst galus of all of them, right? So meaning Rashi says that they were just wiped out from the whole running around in galus, the Sanhedrin, that they finally hit them in Tveria. Shenemar, Bishafalt me'eretz tidaberi, and you're going to go low into the ground when you speak, right? So it's going to be, meaning your speech is going to be lousy because of just totally wiped out. Fine. So that's the 10. Rabbi Lazar, I'm a sheish galus. It was 6. It wasn't 10. Shenemar ki heishach yoshvi marim kirya niskava yashvilena ad haaretz yagirena ad ofar. All right. So there's 6 lashinas in this pasuk of going down. So he says it was only 6 galus. So Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Umisham, Asid and Ligal, and from there, that's where the Gul is gonna come from. Shenemar, Hisnari Meyofer Kumi Shvi, right? So that we know from Kabbalah Shabbos, right? To take Hisnari, like knock off the dust, get up and go sit in Yerushalayim. It's like a description of telling Yerushalayim to come out of the galus. Okay, we should be zoichet for that Geula b'mehera. Okay, so Zok the Mishna. Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha. Now more takanas of Yochanan and zakai after the korban. Yeah. So Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha. Va'id zois hiskan Rabbi Yochanan ben zakai. Shafilu Rosh Bezdin b'chol makom. That even if the Rosh Bezdin is in other places, shalayu aidem halchan el l'makom avad. They only go to the vad. Right, to the which vad? Okay, right. They would go to the I'm just trying to make sure Oilam's up, but I guess it didn't work. But anyway, so they, yeah,
still up.
Okay, that's good. To the Oilam, whatever it is. So basically, Bezdin was in session, and for whatever reason, let's say the Rosh Bezdin had to go be Masad Kedushin somewhere, right? The Rosh Bezdin is never around, so he's running around. So now the Eidim come. Now we said that the Rosh Bezdin has to say Mekudesh, and everybody else answers in Mekudesh. So what happens if the Rosh Bezdin not around? So do we make the Eidim go to find the Rosh Bezdin? So Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakai said, no, he does. They do not have to go chase the Rosh Bezdin. They could do it in Bezdin without the Rosh Bezdin. So the Gemara, there was a woman that was called to Bezdin in Ardai, in front of Amemar in Ardai. Azal Amemar the Mechuza, but Amemar was in Mechuza on a trip, and she didn't follow him there. So Kasab Psicha Ilave, he wrote a what do you call it? Put her in Chayrim. He wrote a star to put her in Chayrim because she didn't come to him to what do you call it? To figure out the din. So Amrle Ravashi La Amemar Va'anan Filu Rosh Bezdin B'chol Makam Shloyu Eidim Halchan Elul Makam Abad. We learned in the Mishna here that Yochanan ben Zakai said that they don't have to go chase the Rosh Bezdin. right? Or the Rosh Bezdin. So why are you making her chase you? That's only for Eidos HaChodesh. If you're going to make these Eidim chase the Rosh Bezdin wherever they go, then they're not going to do it again the next month. Right? Again, we had this a couple of times. We were afraid that the Eidim are not going to do it if you're going to make them Meshuggah. So Nimtza is Machshilin Lasalave. You're going to trip them up because they're not going to come back. Aval Hacha, Eved Loive Leishmalve. Eved, the Loive is a slave to the Malve. Meaning, when somebody borrows money, they know that they're on the bottom. They're on the bottom, and they have to, if they didn't pay it back, they have to make sure that they have to take care of it. So therefore that person would have to chase the Rosh Bezdin to go to wherever it is that he is. All right. So that would be the difference between the two cases.
The grounds for Cherem?
If they don't come to Bezdin, right? You don't come to Bezdin, you go into Cherem. Right? I actually just had this Shiloh today. Somebody has a store, a lady has a store, and somebody bought clothing and they didn't end up buying it. They didn't end up taking it. So she sent back the money, with, I don't know, Zelle or, all these electronic payments. And she says it was taken out of her account. And the person who was supposed to get the money back says it's not in my account. It's just not in my account. So who's Achroi, right? So I don't know who would be considered the loive here, who's not. But
who is the chazak on the money?
That's part of the problem. But
a lot of times they hold the money, but if you don't get the money, you don't get the money.
Right, the money didn't go. The money didn't get there. So
yeah, but who has the clothing?
Well, what happens if you say the check's in the mail?
So it's a mitzvah mechaver al varaya that so she had to prove that she didn't get it. As long as she proves that she didn't get it, so then she must have sent it to the wrong account, right? Yeah, whatever it is. So I guess in that case, she would have to go chase the Rosh Bezdin if that would have been the thing. Okay, so let's see. To Torah. Yeah, there we go. Feel for the kahanim amongst us. Yeah, Torah Rabbanan. Ein kahanim reshoyin la'alis b'sandlein l'duchen. Kahanim are now l'duchen with the shoes. Anybody ever wonder why the kahanim have to take off their shoes? Right? So Rashi doesn't say. Rashi just says it's a Gemara and Saita. Right? The problem is that the Gemara and Saita.
Yaakov, Pashup Shah is because that's how it was in the base of Mikdash.
Right, but that's not what. Right, but that's not what the Gemara says in Saita. Gemara in Saita says because we're afraid that he's going to have his shoes going to get untied, or there's going to be something wrong with his shoes, and he's going to bend down to fix it, and then people are going to think he's Pasal Kahuna because
the people who are not looking.
What? I guess the
people who are not looking.
Well, that's what it is.
No,
they're looking at the floor,
because you're looking down.
Right, they see
you're
his
looking
shoes.
down, L'chayr.
You're looking down, and you can see the Kohanim's feet, but you could see the Kohanim's feet from your seat.
Sure, they go all the way up Asher Yashiv. It's like 18 steps up.
So I'm saying, but you still can't see. You're not looking, unless you are.
You're allowed. It doesn't say that there's blindness by looking at the Kohanim's feet, right?
First of all, you're only not looking during the duchaning itself. You could see them going up.
Well, but that's
so you're also checking to see who has matching socks and who's wearing the same socks second day Yom.
Yeah. Naftali, the chash is that you're going to see him going up, and he's going up because he doesn't want to be embarrassed. But then he ties his shoe so that it looks like, you know what I mean?
But it's before duchaning. He's not doing it during duchaning.
Yes,
that's the shash. If you're wearing your shoes,
that's what he's saying. During duchaning, he's going to bend down and tie his shoes.
Yeah, not because.
So then the question bend down during duchaning, tie your shoes.
Why would you? I don't know, but that's what.
Because you're bored. Because the guy next to you is singing in a really slow song, and you're a kayan, and you had enough of the ay, so you bend down to tie your shoe. Why land down? I don't know why.
Or maybe it's someone that's puzzle, and he goes up there. No one should think he's puzzle, and then he
Right,
just
and
ducks
he's
out.
not, and he doesn't duchen.
He's
Right,
ducking out.
exactly.
That's it.
It's a very simple case. It's a very simple case. It's not complicated case.
But that's not what the Gemara in Sukkah
Us
says.
Yisraelim are
That's
not the
what
ones
this
having an
Gemara
issue
is
here, Rabbi.
saying. He doesn't not go because to be a busha. Everybody thinks he's a kohen or he's a kosher kohen. So he goes up, but he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. It's a very simple case.
Yeah, but that's what now. What the question is: can you go with slip-on shoes that don't have any laces, or is it light plug? What about socks?
Light plug.
That's, I think we say light plug, but it's not pashut. I don't remember now in the poskim, but it's not pashut. Like there's different types of boots and all that some poskim say that you would be able to go with, like the boots, like the, what do you call it?
He goes up the chalitza shoe. He goes up with the chalitza shoes.
So that might get untied. But they're saying the skvera boots, the skvera boots, right? They don't have any. I think they don't. They're not right.
It'll take you 10 minutes to take them off.
That's true. That's true. Agav, by the way, what do I want to say? Really, la halacha, you're supposed to take your shoes off outside. To take the shoes off in besmedrish, in shul, it's a bizayin. Really, the shoes should be taken off outside, but the problem is you're afraid they're going to get taken. You can imagine the chevra, they're antsy already by the end of the davening. The chances of your shoes surviving if you take them over in the hallway are very slim, right? So they say you put it under the table, you hide it, so then you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to do that.
You're supposed to take them off. Doesn't mean that you can't bring them in. You put them under your table. It just means you can't take them off inside.
No,
Your hands
you
are
shouldn't.
now tongue.
You shouldn't store them inside the besmerish. It's a bizayin to leave shoes in besmerish. Okay, whatever it is. So that's one of the takanas of Yochanan zakai. This is one of the 9. Shis the high pirka, 6 of this parak, which is the Mishna that the Gemara has been going through. Right, the lulav and the korban that we did yesterday, and the being makabel the Edom a whole day, and they only go to the Edom, don't have to follow. Right, so those are 6. V'chada, the pirka common, one in the first parak, which was that they're only machal Shabbos, the Edom on Nisan and Tishrei, on Shabbos. V'idach the Tanya, Gershon is Gayer B'zman Hazeh, because they had said that the halacha was that if a ger is Niskayer, so a ger has to bring a korban. So obviously nowadays if somebody becomes a ger, can't bring a korban. So tzarach sheyafresh roiva lakina. What he has to do is he has to take a roiva, a quarter of a shekel, for his bird korban, his bird korban. So they said that he should separate it like this. The minute the beis hamikdash is built, he has to go run and bring that korban. So Rav Shimon Lazar, Farnimna le Rav Yochanan ubitler. Rav Yochanan already was, he took a new vote and he was mevatel it and pay takala because he was afraid of takala, because that money is kedusha to it. He was afraid that, you have that quarter thing sitting on the windowsill and you needed to pay the parking meter. Somebody might just quickly take it and put in the parking meter. Then he's over because it's hektish. And we haven't really discussed it. We discussed this in Sukkah, but we know that if one bezdin is not allowed to overturn other takanas from previous, but they didn't. So exactly how did Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai have the right to do it? Unless he was bigger than them in minyan and chachma and minyan, which is a possibility, whatever. That's a big tumult in the poskim, exactly how Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai overturned these takanas from previous generations. Okay. And what's the other one? What's the 9th one? Plukta the Rapapa of Nachum bar Yitzchak. Right? We knew we couldn't get through 9 takanas of Yochanan ben Zakkai without having a machlokes what one of the takanas was. Right? So it's machlokes Rapapa of Nachum bar Yitzchak. Rapapa Amar Kerem Revai. He made a takana of Kerem Revai. The red string by Yom Kippur. The Gemara goes through it now. Rapapa Kerem Revai. What was the takana of Kerem Revai? Again, Kerem Revai is the first 3 years of, you have Arla, so, that you're not allowed to use a new tree. And for by grapevines, by a vineyard, the 4th year, you have to bring up all the grapes to Yerushalayim and you eat them in Yerushalayim. And if it's too many grapes, then you paid it onto money and then you bring it to Yerushalayim. So what was this takana? The Tnan Kerem Ravai Haya Oil Yerushalayim used to bring the Kerem Ravai up to Yerushalayim. Mahalach Yom L'chol Tzad. But if within a day's travel of Yerushalayim, you did not have the option to put it onto money if it was too big a pain. There was too many grapes. So from any place outside of a day's travel of Yerushalayim, you were allowed to put it onto money. But within a day's travel, you had to actually bring the grapes. Why? V'zui Tchuma, and what is the Tchum? Elas min hatzafon. And to north is Eilat, Ba'akravas min hadarim, and Akravas from the south, Lud min hamayrav, Lud to the west, B'yarden min hamizrach, and Yarden min the mizrach. V'amar ula v'yitem Rabba bar ula amar Rabbi Yochanan matam. Why they say this? They la'ata shvaka Yerushalayim, shuka Yerushalayim beperis, in order to make sure that the streets of Yerushalayim had always a lot of peris. So if they made you, anybody within one day's travel had to bring peris, that means Yerushalayim would always be stocked with peris, right? We had this, I think we had in Sukkah, right? The Tanya, Karen Ravai Hayalel Rebbe Eliezer. Rebbe Eliezer had Karen Ravai. The Mizrach Lud, Betzad Kfar Tavi. He had in the east of Lud, next to Kfar Tavi. Bikesh Rebbe Eliezer Lafkira Laniyim, and he wanted to be Mafkir Taniyim, meaning Rebbe Eliezer didn't have the koyach to schlep all those grapes up. So he figured he'll just make it hefker and tell the Aniyim they should bring it up to Yerushalayim, they'll eat it. Amrulai Talmida, Rebbe Kfar Nimnu Chaverecha Allah Betiru, your friend, which we're going to see right to what that means. Your friend, meaning Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakai, already re-voted and he was materit. And he said that you're allowed to, after the korban beis, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakai said you could be paid onto money even within a day. Because there's no reason, because there weren't, that Yerushalayim didn't have the chashivas anymore, so we didn't have to make sure that there was always fresh fruits. Man chaverecha, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakai, and who's the friend? Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakai. Right, which Gemara is going to discuss. How could he call him his friend? Right, that's the first version of what the ninth takana was from Yochanan ben Zakai. It was the red string. What was that? The Tanya, because we learned in the Brisa, Barishaina, right? We had this in the Yuma. Barishaina, how you kaishrin lashon shel zaris al pesach ulam mibachutz. In the beginning, so they would tie the red string on the doorway to the ulam, to the main building, the beis hamikdash outside. Hilbin hayusmechen. If that red string turned white, so then everybody knew that Klal Yisrael had a kapara, so everybody was happy. Like Hilbin, but if they didn't, hayuatzaven, they would get sad, and they would just give up, and they wouldn't daven the rest of the day or whatever avodas they would do. So skinu, so they made sakin. So they tied it in the inside doorway where everybody couldn't see it. But the problem was, they would still try and squeeze themselves in to see what the string looked like. Right? So if it got white, they were happy, and if it didn't get white, then they would sad. So they're masakin that they're going to tie half the string on the rock that they threw the goat off of, and the other half, they're going to put it on the goat's head. And who did that? That was Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakai. Right, so meaning this string
they cut the string?
The beis hamikdash. What?
They cut it?
They cut it, I guess so, yeah. And how'd they cut it on Yom Tiv?
I don't know. I'm saying
why did they cut it?
Now it's two strings.
Right, so the question is why they cut it.
Why would they
have to cut it for? Right?
Wait, who said they did cut it?
What it says. Chetzi b'sela v'chetzi ben karnov.
Yeah, and then they threw it off the rock. Which Seder is this? The Seder Mishtaleach.
Correct.
So when he got there, he tied the rock to the.
I mean, they tied it on and then it ripped by itself.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever it is, but it split.
That's not him doing anything.
Huh?
So when was it supposed to turn white?
That's whenever they had the tshuva.
So it was ripped already? It wasn't ripped?
Well, Gershon is learning that they tied it to the net. They tied one end to the rock, one end to the horns. And then when they pushed it off, it got ripped, I guess. Or maybe it didn't get ripped. I mean, it had to have gotten ripped, no?
But was it red still or white? Did it change? Was it supposed to?
It started off
didn't change.
It started off red, and then it was supposed to come white.
Before they throw the animal off?
No.
Yeah.
On its
Right
way
after, that's
down,
the
it turned
kapara.
white.
No, they tied
its
it on
way
before,
down.
and then after they threw the animal off. If they got kapara, it turned white.
That's right.
But half the string is gone already.
So that's a question. Why did they have to do this? Why didn't they just tie one end to the rock? Or, you know what I mean? Why do they need to do this whole complicated thing? Right?
Now no one can see it. No one walked with him till the end.
No, I understand, but what's this half on the rock and half on the horn?
If you just put it on the horn, it would go
Well,
down.
nobody
with the goat.
sees it. It's on its
No,
way
but
down.
so tie it on the rock. So tie it on the rock.
Oh.
And it has nothing to do with the goat.
It didn't have anything to go when it was in the beis hamikdash either.
The beis hamikdash is the beis hamikdash.
What are you saying? No.
The beis hamikdash is where all their light is. That's why it's in the beis hamikdash.
I understand.
Once he moved it out of the beis hamikdash, it had to do something to do with the avodah. So you tie it to the goat.
Yeah.
But then there's irrelevant if it turns white or red. Someone had to see it. He didn't want to make the whole cloud.
There's a note. There's a note in
Let's see,
Article.
Yaakov,
There's a
look
note
at
in
the
Article
last
that says that
Rashi.
Gemara and Yoma. And
I know.
explains
I'm not-
why it was not tied entirely to either the rock or the goat.
I know, but I'm not remembering the Gemara. That's the problem.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Rabban?
The last Rashi.
Which last Rashi?
The last Rashi on the Amud. Said it didn't work anymore.
Oh, that's because that's okay. We have to see that's really the next Gemara.
Okay.
But yeah, here, but no, I think this is before no.
I guess so.
No, it's not really. In his life, it never turned white.
Okay, but that doesn't answer why they tied half on the rock and half.
No, he was just minimizing how many people would see it. He knew it wasn't going to turn white. He knew there was no real kapara. So first he put it inside, and then people still tried to see it. So he had to remove it completely. He took it out to Lazaz.
I hear.
Someone had to see it, presumably.
Right.
He only got back after Yom Kippur, so at least on Yom Kippur, they weren't sad. I guess, I don't know.
Okay, but that was the other version of what Rav Yochanan ben Zakai was Masak. So right in Gemara. So Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak, my time Elohim Papa. How come Rav Nachman Yitzchak doesn't say like Rav Papa? Right? Amalach Isaac died to Rav Yochanan ben Zakai. If you say it was Rav Yochanan ben Zakai, Chaver of Rav Eliezer, Mihava was Rav Yochanan ben Zakai, Rav Eliezer's friend. Right? We said that his friend told him we don't do the Kerem Ravai thing anymore. Rabbi Hava, he was his Rebbe. So why are you saying that he was a chaver? So it can't be that it was a Rav Yochanan ben Zakai that made that takana. What about the other opinion? He says, Kivan the Talmidim Hava, since they were Talmidim, Rav Yochanan, they didn't think it would be derech eretz. It would be proper to say your Rebbe, right? Because that would be like your Rebbe changed it, like that. So you say your friends changed it. I don't know exactly what's so disrespectful about saying your Rebbe, unless maybe why didn't he know what his Rebbe said? They said your friend said, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. For Rav Papa, my time, so how come Rav Papa didn't learn like Nachman Yitzchak with the red string? So Amar Lach, Isaac that Rav Yochanan ben Zakai, Rav Yochanan ben Zakai, me have a lashon shel zahiris. In the days of Rav Yochanan ben Zakai, was there even a lashon shel zahiris? But Tani, we learned the Brisa, Kol Shnois of Rav Yochanan ben Zakai, Me'ah ve'esim shana. He lived for 120 years. Mem shana also with prakmachia. For 40 years, he was working, right? Mem shana, he did tshuva and he learned, right? Because first he was a working guy, and then he became a Baal Tshuva and he learned. Yeah, Mem Shana Limit in 40 years, he taught, right? 40 years he taught. The Tanya, Mem Shana Kodim Shenecha Rabbayis, Lahaya Loshen Shel Zahiris, Malvin, Elamadim. For the 40 years before the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, it never got white. It stayed red. B'Tanan, and we learn Mishachar Habayis Hiskin Yochanan Zakai. So when the beis was destroyed, Rabbi Yochanan Zakai was masakin it, right? So what you see is that Rabbi Yochanan Zakai was after the korban, right? So then he was, and the last 40 years, it never turned white. Yeah. So how could it be that he even made this whole takana? Meaning the whole takana was based on the Yidden seeing it turn white, but the last 40 years it didn't turn white. So it can't be that was Yochanan Zakai. Okay, so the idach. What's the other sheet to say? Oisam Rabbayim Shana the Lamad. Those 40 years that he learned, Talmud Yosef Bnei Rabbi Hava. He was a Talmud sitting in front of his Rebbe, V'amar Milsa, and he said something, meaning he said maybe we should stop tying the string there. V'estaver Tame, and it made a lot of sense. His reasoning made a lot of sense. V'kaveh Rabbi B'Shmei, and since the Talmud said it, so his Rebbe said that it became Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai's takana. But this was in his middle 40 years when he was still just a student before he was teaching. So meaning this last takana wasn't when he became in charge. This is really when he was a student, but he got the credit for it because it was his idea. Okay, so we'll stop over here. Have yourselves a good night.
Shkoyach.
All right, shkoyach to you. Aaron Kaplan. So the chuppah I have on Sundays at 5 in Bellworks.
Oy, that's far away, Yaakov.
Right. So, but I'm going to leave right after the chuppah. So I imagine with traffic.
5 o'clock Sunday chuppah in South Jersey. I hear.
Figure 6 o'clock I'll leave there. That takes me by 8. I should be back with the worst.
I should call for 8:15.
Well, we finish on Motzei Shabbos, right? The daf finishes Motzei Shabbos.
Motzei Shabbos is Sunday night.
No, I think the last daf is Motzei Shabbos. No. Hold on.
Even the way
There's
we do
3
it?
more. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday should be the last stop.
No,
Shabbos.
it's not
Shabbos
Friday.
is the last stop.
Not Friday for sure, Gershon.
Shabbos is the.
Yeah, I forgot Lamed Beis. Yeah, Beis, Lamed Gimel, Lamed Dalet, Lamed Hey. Yeah. Shabbos is the last.
What about Motzei Shabbos?
So I mean, there's no daf Lamed Hey. I mean, it's nothing.
Right, but that would be Shabbos. That's Motzei Shabbos.
That would be Shabbos.
So we finally get an easy one.
Yep, finally.
Not the first time.
No, but
the
last few were like a regular daf.
Yeah.
Yeah, Naftali, you can go for a bike ride, Motzei Shabbos.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
Aaron, you want to do a Motzei Shabbos?
What?
You want to do a Motzei Shabbos? Like 9 o'clock?
Interesting.
Some steak. Steak at 9:30. Well,
let me know because I gotta change.
No, Shabbos is over. Why so late? Shabbos is over so early.
Parents, some of us are sobering up still at that point.
And we don't have to. Now we don't have to.
What's wrong with 8:15 on Sunday? What's wrong with 8:15 on Sunday?
Right.
Maybe it doesn't work for some people.
No, I mean, Lamaisa late at night would be easier for Motzei Shabbos than Sunday night for those that get up early. You know what I mean?
Don't you have a shear 9:30?
Yeah, I'd have to change that.
Well, we need to decide because either I can sous vide a brisket or I can smoke it. So if it's Sunday night, I can smoke.
I spoke to the guy. I'll speak to you. I'll talk to you offline about it.
I'll talk on recording. Hold on.
Offline, we're gonna get the